I couldn't hail an Uber on my Q10. But I can with the Priv. And in fact, I did call my very first Uber. I've taken Uber with Sam and Mindy before, but this was my first time hailing an Uber myself. So I was at the George Bush International Airport, and I needed to get to a hotel, and it was a little too late for the airport shuttle, so I needed another way of getting around. And so I turned on my data, which I like to play the Hunt for Wi-Fi game. So turning on your mobile data is like giving up at the game. But I'm like, okay, I did the math, and taking the Uber versus a taxi saved me about $11. And it incurred me about 70 cents in roaming charges, both from the phone calls and the data. And I think I reconfirmed the address of the hotel, so that estimate of the data cost is probably on the high side. So I easily cleared $10 in savings. There was some miscommunication between me and the driver, but it had no impact on where we were going. He was just trying to point out that some roads had been closed, and I didn't quite understand what he was trying to say. But, it didn't slow down the process anyway. It didn't cost me anything. So my first Uber experience wasn't totally smooth. One thing I noticed is you hail somebody with an Uber. And I've noticed this with Mindy and with Sam as well, is, you ask for the ride in the app, and the app, as I understand it, communicates who you are, your phone number, where you are, and where you want to go to the other person. Invariably, without fail, every time I've been in an Uber with someone, the first thing that happens after you hail that ride is they call you, they ask where you are, at minimum, and just confirm it, which the app gives you this information. It seems redundant. I don't know why people need to have this phone call. And the guy that phoned me, it was more than that. He clarified my name, his name, where I was, twice where I was, and also he needed the address of where I was going. I'm pretty confident that the Uber app communicates that. So why he needed to hear it again, I don't get. So I think that obviously, it's still somewhat new technology. It's my first time using it. So I think people are still probably figuring out how to use it very effectively. I just don't see the necessity of that phone call. If you're having trouble finding the person, that's fine. If there's a glitch, if there's some issue, if you're running late, you want to let them know. That's all fair. But to reconfirm information that the app should already provide seems like a waste of a phone call. And that's just bad business, because the person receiving the call is possibly roaming. The person making the call is probably calling long distance. So these are expenses that you don't need to incur. And that's cutting into your bottom line, I would think, because you're incurring cost of gas and your time, wear and tear on your car. That all cuts down on the money you make out of being a driver. I am no expert, because I come from the one city in all of North America that does not have Uber, which is Vancouver, and the province of British Columbia in Canada on the west coast does not yet allow Uber. I'm playing in an unfamiliar field here, but that's just sort of my take on it. One thing that was disappointing is Lyft I had a credit with, but Lyft was not available at the Houston International Airport. So market penetration and availability, Uber definitely has the advantage.